G'day, I'm Paul. So this is the BMW M3 Touring. It was recently revealed at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Today I'm going to take you on a bit of a walk around and give you my reaction to it, because we just drove the M4 competition and I was seriously blown away by that. So to think that you can now get basically that, but in a station wagon for all you family people out there, I think is pretty exciting. So let's saddle up and take it for a static walk around. Now, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. And by the way, today we're looking at the i7 as well, so you can see that video down in the description below. But let's get started with this. Now, let's quickly talk about pricing. I don't know what the pricing is going to be, but it will be more expensive than the sedan version of this. And given the amount of engineering that's gone into it, it could be a bit of a big step there, but we'll wait and see when they finally do announce pricing. And in terms of when it's going to arrive, well, this enters production in November. And that means that hopefully it'll be in Australia late this year, early next year. We'll see how we go. On the design front, down the front here, it looks pretty much the same as the M3 sedan. So you've got that big kidney grille there. This one has the optional carbon package, so air runs through there to the brakes and additional cooling for the engine. Look, the designer, I know it's been a bit controversial, but it really does look good in person, and especially here in this color. So this is like a matte black, and it just makes the car look so incredibly sinister. And I'll tell you why this color works well for the roof when we check that out. But yeah, this really sort of translates nicely to the rear as it comes along the back there. So come around to the wheels, I'll show you what these look like. So this has like a piano black finish on the wheels. The badge on the front and also here on the caps is to commemorate the BMW M anniversary, and you can basically just get a standard badge if you don't want this, but I think this looks pretty cool. 380mm rotor there, it's cross drilled. You've got black brake calipers, 6-piston caliper. This can be different colors as well, so you don't have to go black if you don't want to, but I think the black works really well here, especially if you're getting the black paintwork on the car. M3 Competition, because this will be only sold as an M3 Competition in touring spec. I love these side skirts here. Have a look at this. They run all the way down the side of the car there. It's like a high gloss piano black finish, and it really just gives that an aggressive taper as the door comes down there. Carbon package here on the mirror. Again, this car's got that optionally fitted, but I do love the way here with the M cars, how it sits separate to the body up that top section there. It's probably for a very minor aero gain, but I think it looks really cool. So I mentioned the interaction of the paint here with the roof. So this doesn't get a carbon roof like you do in the other versions of this car that aren't the Touring. But the way they've staggered this is great, because this comes standard with a high gloss black finish. And depending on which color you go, it may not look all that good, but when you do go the frozen, it'll match up the top there too. So it really just cuts a beautiful sleek line. And of course, being the Touring, have a look at this. As you get to the back, you've got these flared arches here with a little bit of that extra protection on the side there. The brakes at the rear measure 370mm. They're also cross-drilled. That is a single piston caliper. They're also on a 20-inch wheel at the back there. In terms of the tyre size, actually, let's have a sticky beak down here. So 285 wide at the rear. Given this is all-wheel drive, traction should be pretty good, but again, you can just flick it into rear-wheel drive mode to have some proper fun with it. Come around to the back, I think this is the bit everyone is probably the most excited about. So to me, this is the thing that makes it so appealing. I love a good wagon, but then when you make it a performance wagon, this really sort of takes it to the next level. And it takes all the good things about the 3 Series Touring and just obviously adds all those performance elements. So let's start at the top. You've got I guess it kind of looks like a shark fin aerial. We've got an aerial up there that resembles that. This gurney here from 120 k's an hour, you can feel the effects of that. So that is to add extra downforce to the rear. So when you think about these as a performance car, you really need to have as much downforce on the rear as you can, especially because even as an all-wheel drive, it is rear biased. So you really want to have it hunkering down as much as humanly possible. Tail lights here, LED, frosted finish, they look sensational. And then as you go further down the bottom, this car has that carbon diffuser on it with these 4 enormous cannons. The other vehicles in this M range are actually available with an M performance exhaust that kind of groups all 4 exhausts in the center here, and that looks just over the top, but pretty cool in my opinion. I don't know if that'll be offered here, but if it does, that's going to stand out really nicely. The other cool features on the back here are the ability to open the glass, again, just like a normal 3 Series Touring. And then if you're done with that, you can go straight into opening the boot. Look at that. So I actually learned a couple of interesting things today. So whenever we, I guess, review these cars, I've always wondered what the little hole next to the grab handle up the top there does. And it's actually to hold that cargo blind up. So you have kind of like a barrier there. And the other thing I learned as well is these rubber grips here are actually motorized. So if you look under here, these motors push those rubber grips up when the car's running, and that stops everything sliding forward. And if you take this to a track day and you forget to take your luggage or shopping out, you should hopefully hold it in position. But you can see here that there really isn't a great deal of compromise in terms of storage, especially when you consider that they've had to strengthen that rear suspension to give it that lateral rigidity, and you don't have any intrusion here like you typically would with a cross member. That means you get this underfloor storage as well for the cargo blind. Really is a decent amount of space there that you can use just as a normal family wagon as well. So, welcome to the interior of the M3 Touring. One of the things you'll notice that's different to the M3 and the M4 is the screen here. So this gets the curved display that we've seen in some of BMW's newer products. This is where the M3 sedan is going to go as well shortly. So this isn't anything sort of new, but this will be the first that actually gets this set up. And I think that this just looks sensational. We've seen this set up in the iX before, works really well. It's got OS 8. It is the latest version of iDrive and the best version as well. OS 7 kind of dropped the ball a little bit there in terms of functionality, but this is sensational and it just looks really nice. The carbon inlays here are all just sort of typical performance BMW, and the rest of this looks very familiar. You've got your customizable drive modes up the top here, so you can even set one of these to be rear-wheel drive. So if you do want to go do some skids or something, you just double tap one of those and away you go. And I love the fact that these are carbon as well. They just have a really cool feel to them, so pretty impressive stuff. Now under the bonnet, this is going to share an engine with the M3 Competition, so that means 3-litre turbocharged 6-cylinder, 375 kilowatts of power, 650 newton meters of torque, and you've also got an 8-speed torque converter automatic. So that's important to note as well, because the dual clutch setup of the previous generation M cars, I don't know, it was great, but this really just takes it to another level in terms of drivability. You don't get any of that stuttering, and BMW's been able to engineer a really good launch control program as well, which is typically the downfall of a standard torque converter. 0 to 100 happens in around 4 seconds, and it will do almost 300 kilometers an hour with the driver's package. I mean, just think about that, 300 kilometers an hour in a family wagon. It is seriously cool stuff. So that has been your first glance on CarExpert of the M3 Touring. I genuinely can't wait to drive this because it looks sensational, and I think if it's finished in the right color, this is just like the stealthiest performance wagon on the market and the perfect reason to move away from an SUV. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like it, you share it with your mates, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Send us likes and prayers so I can potentially buy one of these one day. But until next time, take it easy.